my name is Danielle and I am a Customer Success Manager at Rallybound. And in this tutorial, we are going to cover offline registrations or the act of an administrator going in and registering somebody from the back end. And I'm also going to touch on managed accounts and the differences between an attendee and a fundraiser. So, as you can see, the world that we're in today has become very complicated, so I'm going to try to make it simpler for you. Now, the view that I'm on right now is from the back end after I've logged in as an administrator and I've selected the campaign. There are two ways that you could access the admin panel, which is where you're going to need to go. In this specific view, I had already selected the campaign. Admin panel is right here. If I had not selected the campaign, of course, you can access the admin panel by selecting the cog that's on the far right of any of the campaign rows. Once I am in the back end, how I would register somebody is by either going to the People tab and selecting Registrants, which will give me all of the information about registrants for my event, or alternatively, we have this quick access button that's down below that says New Registration, and that will allow me to quickly register somebody from the back end. Now, as you can see, this view that we see right here is the exact same, if I close out of here, as this view that I see right here. The information that's required for the registration process is contact information, account info, and so what that means is whether somebody is going to be a new member, which means that they're going to be participating in your event in some capacity. They're going to be attending or they're going to be fundraising. Generally, in Rallybound terminology, what member means is a fundraiser, but in this instance, it could also mean a fundraiser or an attendee, which I think is really important, and I'll touch on that in more detail as I get to member options. But when you go to account info, you'll be able to select new member or managed account. So what a managed account is, in the most basic and common form, is a parent registering their child. It is somebody that has no intention of being a fundraiser. They don't need or want their own fundraising page. They do not have an email address, and at no point are they going to be trying to access this information on their own. Purely it's somebody that you're having join you for this event and you're saying they're underneath me, I'm going to be responsible for them, so make this a managed account and make me the head of this account, the head of this household. And so in those instances, if you were to choose managed account, you would see that you are not required to enter an email address. Instead, you are only allowed, or you're only asked to enter who they are going to be managed by. But let's say that this individual is not a managed account, they're going to be a new member. I would then ask for an email address and then a password, which if you're adding them from the back end, you can make it really simple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, their first or last name, whatever it is, and then you can email that to them after they're done. Now going down to member options, we in Rallybound have 3 different types of individuals that will log on to our system. It is an attendee, which is saying that you're holding an event and I'm physically going to be there. And that's the only thing I'm going to do. I'm going to physically be at the event, but in no way am I planning on supporting it in other capacities that I want you to be aware of or I want you to track. The second example is a fundraiser. It's saying, yes, I am enthusiastic about your cause and what it is that you're doing. I want to support you. I plan to evangelize your message, reach out to my network. I'm going to encompass the peer-to-peer elements in what I'm doing because I want to support you. I believe that what you're doing is good. The difference between just a general fundraiser and an attendee plus fundraiser is that there can be individuals that believe in your message and want to support you, but they won't physically be attending. Many of our customers will call that a virtual fundraiser, a virtual walker, a virtual attendee. Any way that you want to coin it in our system, it's purely a fundraiser because it's somebody that's going to fundraise for you, but it's not necessarily indicative of them being there. And as somebody that runs an event, you know it's really important to know who is actually going to be attending. So if you have somebody that is planning on attending your event, they signed up for your walk, they are trying to prospect out to everybody that they know to get other people to sign up, creating a team, that would be an attendee and a fundraiser. There are some limitations if somebody is just going to be an attendee. If someone is just an attendee, then they cannot be a part of a team because they are not a fundraiser. So you're just saying that they're going to be attending, and that's about it. And so if you have situations where you think that somebody wants to be involved, maybe they're not technologically savvy, but they still want to be involved, they want to be part of a team, it would be best just to have them as an attendee and fundraiser if they'll be attending, or if they just want to participate even from the peripheral and you're not sure if they're going to be attending, or in this case they won't be attending but they want to support the event, then that would be a fundraiser. It gets kind of confusing. I hope that it doesn't get too confusing for you because the concepts can be easy if you choose for it to be easy. So attendee, I'll be attending. That's it. No fundraising. A fundraiser, I'm going to be fundraising. I won't be attending. An attendee and a fundraiser is the combination of the two. Now, these other two questions that you see immediately under member options are the questions that I've asked that I've already set out in the registration form. And so me as an administrator coming and doing an offline registration, I'm going to have to answer these. Now, this is the second part that might get confusing. When you have somebody that is doing a registration, let's say that your registration fee is $25, and they send you in a check and they say, I want you to register me for the event, and I want to pay my registration fee and I also want to give a donation. What we often see is somebody will come here and say, make a donation or process a registration fee. Yes. And then they will enter the information that's related to that amount. But how Rallybound tracks these in the system is every time a transaction takes place, whether it's a donation or a registration, it's considered a new transaction, a different line item. And so you might not see this, but on the front end, when somebody does that same exact thing, they registers and they pay for a donation, is that Rallybound will create two transactions associated with that, one for the donation and one for the registration. Being that you're doing this manually in the back end, you're going to have to manually go and create those two different transactions. So how you would do this? The first thing you need to do is create the registration transaction. So to do that, you're saying, yes, I want to make this a donation, process a registration fee, but specifically, I want to process this as a registration fee. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to put $25. Once I put $25 and I put the rest of the information, I close out of here. I have the individual that I just registered here as a registrant. Then I would want to go and I would want to create a donation to an existing user, pull that individual up, and I would want to make the donation for $25. So that way we have those two transactions. And here's an example. This is under transactions, the donations. So as you can see, we have donations that have taken place here. Here is an example of two transactions that took place from Luke Skywalker. One was a registration, one was a donation. It appears that they both took place at the same exact time. So Luke, he made his registration fee, which in this case it looks like it was $95, but he also made an additional donation for $250. So what the system did is it created one registration row, one donation row, which is the reason why when you're manually going and doing it on the back end, you need to create those two different activities so that way it calculates both of the transactions that take place. Now, I had mentioned that there are two different ways that you can do an offline registration, and you can either click this button, new registration, or up here, or alternatively, if you have more than one person that you wanted to register, you can come to upload registrations, download the template, which is going to ask you for specific information related to the registrant, and you would come and fill this information out. Once you've done that and you've uploaded it, then you will be able to upload registrants all at once. I hope that this tutorial was helpful for you. I thank you for the time that you've spent with me. If you have any questions, please let us know at support@rallybound.com. Thanks so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.